Hey, what's up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a good day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. Spinderella from Salt and Pepper. I woke up this morning and I was reading this story about Spinderella and the fact that she is livid about Salt and Pepper and the way the biopic was laid out. She is an iconic member of the group, and so as you can imagine, I was kind of surprised. I read an article on Madame Noir, in which basically Spinderella, she almost seems to be saying that she isn't happy with Salt and Pepper, that she almost wishes that she wasn't ever in the group. She definitely isn't supportive of the biopic, and this kind of surprised Alicia and I because we both like Salt and Pepper like everybody else, and we are excited to watch the movie. And it made me kind of reflect on just some of the challenges that can come up when you're trying to form some sort of business arrangement with other people, and it's expected to last for a long time. It's really really challenging. So anyway, let me hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. Also, shout out what city that you're from. I like to see what city you guys are coming from in the morning, and I'm gonna read some of what happened. So hit the thumbs up button. I'm gonna find the story. Let me know, and also give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay, because sometimes if I switch screens, it might cause an issue. So basically, this article says that the Spinderella is included in the movie. The movie's called Salt and Pepper, of course. And the DJ Spinderella, her real name is Deidre Roper. And so Roper, aka Spinderella, is included in the movie. But as Cheryl James, who plays Salt, or who is Salt, and Sandra Denton Pepper were executive producers on the project, she was not allowed to provide any creative input or insight into the ways in which she was cast or portrayed, and her perspective was not consulted in the overall story. Overall, she is not pleased about it. On Instagram, Spinderella shared her thoughts. Quote, for those asking or wondering of my involvement in the Salt and Pepper Lifetime special, too often Black women who have made meaningful contributions in their industry are left out of historical narratives. But when Salt and Pepper was building our legacy, which is rooted in empowering women, I could not have dreamed that the same group would one day disempower me. Okay, so let me talk about that, right? So Spinderella has this issue with Salt and Pepper, and the first thing I'm picking up in her, reaction to this is that, first of all, I don't think anybody should or has the ability to really pick a side in this. I know people get tempted to do that. They get tempted to say, "Oh, they did her dirty," or "Oh, that was wrong," and stuff like that. And I can just tell you, from the jump, my spidey senses tells me that this ain't about women disempowering all women. This is not about clearly knowing who did who wrong. It's a business dispute. Excuse me. It's a business dispute between three grown-ups who apparently don't see eye to eye. That's it. That's what it is. It's not the downfall of all women's empowerment. You know, it's not some sort of sign that Salt and Pepper want to keep women oppressed. It's not, the greatest anti-woman statement in all of history. It's basically like y'all just ain't getting along. Salt and Pepper apparently have an issue with Spinderella, and that's what it is. And so I would say that if you want to ask me why why it came to mind to me this morning to talk about it on the podcast is first of all, I'm a businessman, and I've seen business disputes. And just so you know, if you get to the point where you're doing business with people and money starts getting made, you're gonna have conflict. And that's what courts are for. Courts are for you to sort things out and to talk about contracts and everything else. I have sued people. I've been sued. It's gonna happen. If you go into business, lawsuits are just a part of the game, and you deal with it. But also, the other part of that is I immediately become very skeptical when one party in a suit tries to pull the entire community or pull other people into their dispute and to make it about something bigger than what it is. Like, it made me think about, to be honest with y'all, David and Dee Dee, it made me think about Byron Allen. When Byron Allen, you might remember when Byron Allen had that issue with Comcast, and Byron Allen's fighting with Comcast, and he goes on the Breakfast Club and says, "No, Comcast isn't fighting against me. They're fighting against the entire black community. They're trying to oppress black people. They're trying to put us into slavery and come into your house and beat you upside the head and give everybody coronavirus. Like, I mean, it was real. You know, he did a great job in the interview with Charlemagne and everybody, and it kind of made it, you know, I mean, it made it interesting. It was dramatic. He's a very smart guy. But when I thought about it after a while, I said, no, this lawsuit is not about the entire black community. This is about you and Comcast. That's what it is. You know, and sometimes we get to this point where people start to play games with the public to get public support for their point of view. I honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not here to say that Salt and Pepper is, you know, that spin that Salt and I say when I say Salt and Pepper, I'm talking about the two ladies who play Salt and Pepper. I'm not here to say that they are or are not, you know, empowering figures for women. I figured that the music already did that. You know, Salt and Pepper, you know, Salt and Pepper's here, not you to push it. Now, you know, like I feel like Salt and Pepper already empowered women. Like their music empowered women all around the world. Give me a yes or no if you were inspired by what you saw with Salt and Pepper. I was inspired, and I wasn't even a woman. I remember my late homeboy. His name was Greg Wilkins. He lived in Louisville, Kentucky. We grew up in Louisville, which is where Breonna Taylor lives, and he got murdered a few blocks from where Breonna Taylor lived. And, and I remember us being in high school, and I remember my homeboy Greg, you know, talking about how pretty they were and how Spinderella, you know, he liked her body. You know, I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but he did check out the booty and whatever, and he talked about it. You know, and like even as young teenagers, like we thought Salt and Pepper was awesome, right? And so that inspiration is already there, you know. I haven't seen this movie. I'm gonna watch the movie, and I think that this idea of kind of saying like, okay, I'm gonna go and crap on the movie and make this all about women's empowerment and they're disempowering a woman because I happen to be a woman, then this is a political statement that they're not including me. No, no. You know, I believe in women's equality, which means that people can just not like your butt. Like they can just decide, look, we don't want to mess with you, we don't want to do business with you. We're done with you, right now. But that doesn't make her in the wrong per se. I don't know how this dispute went. I don't know if somebody got screwed or not. But a lot of times people will take a private dispute and try to make it into something like, oh, let me tell you how they did me dirty, y'all. Let me tell you how they did me dirty. No, you go to court. That's what courts are for. And also, I'd be really curious to see, you know, what was the contractual arrangement? You know, what was the setup there from the jump? Like, what pieces of paper do you have your name on that protect your interest in the group? And if you did have your name on some pieces of paper, what was the recourse? You know that you took when you realized that they were kind of doing some things without you. Because if you recall, Public Enemy also had that issue. You know, I think Flavor Flav got booted from the group, and I think that they let him back in since then. But you know, I guess Chuck D and Flavor Flav, I assume they have a love-hate relationship, which is what's going to happen when you work with somebody for over 30 years. You know, 30-year marriages. You know, you get a lot of complexities in those long marriages. That's what it is. When you're in business with somebody for 30 years, it's like being married to them, and sometimes you love them, sometimes you hate them, you know, and sometimes you end up in court, you know. And so I'll tell you, I'm not here to pick a side because the fact is you don't have enough information to pick a side. I know people are like, oh, they did her wrong, or oh, she needs to just step off and stop it. No, you can't pick a side. You know, I think the biopic sounds interesting. I'd like to watch the movie and maybe, and I know Spinderella has a book. I think people that want to hear both sides should maybe they could read her book, you know, and hear her perspective because I imagine that the biopic is going to help her get some book sales and all that good stuff, right? Because everybody's talking about Salt and Pepper now. I mean, would you be talking about Salt and Pepper right now if they didn't have a movie coming out? No, you probably wouldn't. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button. And also, if you want a free, speaking of books, I have a book called "It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar." You can actually have it for free. You don't have to pay for it. You go to allblackeconomics.com. That's allblackeconomics.com to just sign up, and I'll give you a free copy of the book. So let me read more of what Spinderella has to say because I do believe that she has the right to have she does have the right to have a perspective. So she says, for those asking or wondering about my involvement the Salt and Pepper Lifetime Special. Too often, Black women who have made meaningful contributions in the industry are left out of historical narratives. But just so you know, they didn't leave Black women out. They left her out. There are plenty of Black women in the movie. So let's not act like we left all Black women out. We left her out. Like there's a difference. Okay. But anyway, back when Salt and Pepper was building our legacy, which is rooted in empowering women. There you go. There's that word again. Women. I could not have dreamed that the same group would one day disempower me. Words cannot fully express my disappointment when I learned a decision was made to move forward with a Lifetime biopic that wrongfully excluded me from every aspect of development and production, all the while using my image throughout, given that I played an integral role in the group's story and success. So let me ask y'all a question right quick. Give me a yes or no. Do you feel that Spinderella was significant in Salt and Pepper? Like, who feels that Spinderella was very important in Salt and Pepper legacy? Give me a yes or no. If if Spinderella, not Cinderella, Spinderella was important for you, give me a yes or no. All right. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. I feel like Spinderella was significant. So, if I were really concerned about this group, which honestly I'm not. I mean, that's their business, right? I would probably want to know, like, what went down, like who did what, like how did y'all, like y'all were, you know, and this is a good, I think, good note to understand if you ever start a business or do something in public. People that are your fans that are watching what you're doing, they don't really like to see their heroes fighting each other. They just don't. When people are iconic like that and everybody loves them, like Chuck D and Flavor Flav, I don't think anybody was happy to see Chuck D fighting with Flavor Flav. Like people like, wait a minute, or to see Andre 3000 fighting with Big Boy again. But these long marriages, Big Boy and Andre been married financially for what 20 something years. You're gonna have disputes, right? But nobody, I don't know about y'all, but I was very unhappy to see Big Boy and Andre going at it. It's like, wait a minute, can't y'all get over your shit and just figure out a way to get out there and make something happen? Actually, now that I think about it, a friend of mine, Willie D, two friends of mine, like every group has they fight with their group members after you've been together for a long time because you have business disagreements because people evolve, people change. If you remember, Run DMC had an issue where Run, I think one, I don't remember which one, Run or DMC. I guess it was DMC that was like, I don't want to rap anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And Run was like, no, 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 I want to get out with the young guys and I want to do this and do that. So they went in different ways. Another example, my homeboy Willie D. Willie D is a friend of mine. I was on the show last week. Willie D. He doesn't get along. He didn't get along with Bushwick Bill from from the Ghetto Boys, right? There was opportunities in the aftermarket for them to go on tour and make money and all that. And apparently there were disputes about, when the tours would happen, what cities they would go to, and who would get the money and all this other stuff. Ice Cube, another friend of mine, you've seen Ice Cube on my channel. Ice Cube had an infamous falling out with NWA. Y'all know about that because that all came out on wax with one of the greatest diss songs of all time. Remember No Vaseline? Which I'm proud to say that my friend won that diss. He murdered NWA in that song. Y'all remember No Vaseline? And so the point of the matter is to say that these disputes are going to happen all the time. And let me just tell you a little secret. Let me just give you all some game right now in terms of tips on how you can go about moving forward, in business with other people. Sometimes the biggest curse you can have when you have business partners is success. Success can be a curse in itself because before, when you ain't got nothing to argue about, when you don't have enough money in the pot to fight over, then everybody's cool, everybody's generous, everybody's like, I'll take 50%, I don't care, it's all good. Where things get difficult is when you have money coming in, and then you also have other people coming in, people whispering in each other's ears, and people react differently to fame. Some people get arrogant and all this other shit, where suddenly now that same person you could have called on the phone and just talked it out, that person now got an entourage and the secretary and and a busy schedule and advisors and all these other people that are in their ear saying, well, you're the reason that this group exists. You're the reason that the group is making all the money. Well, oh, that's disrespectful. How are they going to do that to you? You should not tolerate that. And I'm just going to tell you, one thing I learned over time is that when you form partnerships, you really want to check yourself. Number one, check yourself and check your own ego. And be careful about getting to the point where you think you can just do it all by yourself, because that's how these groups fall apart. is people get their own interests and everybody's going in different directions. Before, the things where people would have humbled themselves to the collective, now they trying to do me, my brand, my this and my that, and next thing you know, everybody's losing money. The second thing is, after you check your own ego and you check your own, you check yourself, check the people that you partner with. you know look at look at their character, look at how they handle disputes. My fiance Alicia is a couples counselor, and we were doing some stuff this weekend, actually on the Black Love channel. If you actually want to learn a lot about love and relationships and all that, you should definitely follow us on the blacklovechannel.com, because there are tools and strategies you can use to minimize conflict, to minimize the chances that you're going to have a divorce, so to speak. There's ways, like if you have an issue with somebody, there are ways you should bring it to them where you're going to have a constructive outcome, not destructive. Do you understand me when I tell you that the number one killer of black wealth is the fact that we can't keep our relationships together? When you can't even get married and stay married, when you got children growing up without their daddy in the house because the parents couldn't get along, sometimes the parents done broke up before the baby is born. You really think that you have a better shot at succeeding economically when you're doing it all by yourself? Like, you really think that? Like, you really, and so I can just tell you, when you think about some of the greatest groups of all time that have fallen out. Um, you think about situations where the whole team was winning, and then everybody started thinking they could do it by themselves, and then suddenly everybody's losing. You look at, even in the world of sports, the Dallas Cowboys had in the '90s, one of the greatest sports franchises of all time. Egos got involved. They broke the team up. Dallas ain't won in 25 years. Dallas ain't been shit for 25 years. The Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, and that organization were clicking off championships like it wasn't nothing, winning championships left and right, right and left. Then egos got involved. Next thing you know, everybody's got these deal breakers. Well, we're definitely not bringing this team back together, no matter what. And Michael's like, well, I gotta have this and have that. And Phil Jackson, everybody's egos. Everybody's egos. Next thing you know, the team breaks up, and they were not better off as a result. And so your family is the Chicago Bulls. Your clique, your friends, your circle, that's the Dallas Cowboys for you. The people around you that have your back, that you love, that you work with every day, that you want to build businesses with, like that is your Salt and Pepper. That's your ghetto boys. That's your NWA. And the question you must ask yourself is can we stand the rain? Can we find a way to keep our egos in check so that we can work together and keep winning championships? Kobe and Shaq, thank you, Pierre. That's another example. There's numerous, there's probably hundreds of examples we could probably come up with of situations where a group came together, whether it's a musical group, a sports team, or anything else, where they were killing the game. On top of the world, from Outcasts all the way across the board to the Dallas Cowboys, you know, where they were killing the game, and then suddenly something happened, and suddenly everybody's got their own little agenda, and suddenly everybody's going in separate directions because suddenly everybody thinks they can do it by themselves. So just know, it's not, it's hard to do it by yourself, and I'm gonna tell you, it just, in terms of breaking things down with you in an honest way, I love working with the Nation of Islam, and I love working with Vicky Dillard, for example, because in the Nation of Islam, they understand relationships. They understand the importance of maintaining your relationship with people by getting to the bottom of it. Like, just saying, like, okay, we have a conflict now. How do we resolve this conflict without burning down the house, without re-traumatizing each other, without tearing the whole building down? Um, that's why I love working with the Nation of Islam. I got so many friends, from Vicky Dillard to Nuri Muhammad to a lot of other folks. Of course, Minister Farrakhan. I worked with him on many occasions, resolved disputes with him. Where things happened and there were misunderstandings, and we talked it out. and that's why the Nation of Islam is one of my favorite organizations, because they understand how to value relationships, not jumping to conclusions, not letting your ego get all crazy, not thinking, oh, I'm gonna go attack them before they attack me, not trying to re-traumatize each other. And that's why the Nation of Islam's winning. Thank you, Wesley Muhammad. Can't believe I forgot. There's a lot of other people I should be mentioning too. I just want you but those are the ones that came to mind first. But I'm telling you, I love that. I love working with people that resolve disputes. There are ways to do that. That's one of the things my fiance is very good at, and that's one of the reasons why I'm happy to marry her, is because I know we're gonna have our shit. I know that we're gonna have our battles. I know we're gonna have our disagreements. We're definitely gonna have our disputes. The question is not whether you can avoid having conflict. It is, how do you manage your conflict? Um, she happens to be right here.
Oh,
Hit the thumbs up button. By the way, if you could take a second to hit the thumbs up button. We're trying to build some Black media, and yourblackworldtv.com. That's one of our channels. So I hope you'll subscribe. We do a lot of Black stuff on the platform. So what do you think, babe? Did I do okay?
oh, you did great, of course, as usual.
So I did a good job analyzing conflict, and
Now, I have a question for you, though. How do you think ego plays a part of it?
I think ego plays a part because because when you get famous, and I've been around a lot of famous people, and I'm a little famous myself, it's very easy to start just smelling your own shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm all of that, and because it pumps your ego up. When you got people that cry when they meet you for the first. I've had that happen. I've had people cry when they meet me. When you're signing so many autographs that your hand gets tired. When you go to restaurants and people want to give you free food. If you're a man, maybe the women are chasing you now. Everybody wants to be your friend. All your people are telling you how great you are. If you're part of a collective and everybody's getting that same ego boost, some people aren't gonna take it well. Like, some people are gonna really get to the point where they don't keep it in perspective, and they really think, well, I don't need these other people. Like, I can keep all the money myself, and I can do this all by myself. And that most of the time that's not true. That's a failed strategy. Why do you ask about ego?
I don't know, because as you were talking, it just made me reminded me that ego could be in play with a lot of these collaborations that go awry. And then you have people whispering in their ear saying, "You don't need him. You could do it on your own."
Mm-hmm.
They pump you up, and what they do is they destruct the relationship. It happens with couples all the time. You have a
Really?
mama or a friend or someone telling you bad stuff about about your spouse or about your mate, and then you believe that stuff, and they get in between the relationship.
Oh, that is so true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you had that single ass girlfriend who's telling you, girl, I would never with that. I would never
You
let
need to.
you need to just check his ass. Get
Uh-huh.
out of that relationship so you could be single and lonely like me.
Oh.
or
Yeah.
men do it to each other too, though.
Uh-huh.
Men be like, oh, what? She did what to you? Like, no, I wouldn't let no woman tell me what to do like that.
Uh-huh.
And then, yeah, you can get caught up in all that, and you got to shut them people down.
Yeah, those aren't your friends. When they're trying to break you up and they're trying to cause a lot of chaos, those aren't your friends.
Mm.
They're trying to get you to fight on the internet. Those aren't your friends. you know.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that is so
Yeah.
true. That is so true. Yeah, you know what I have found? I have found that conflict resolution skills are
Mm-hmm.
literally among the most valuable resources that I was able to pick up in my arsenal, of
Interesting.
success. Yeah, conflict resolution is everything. Like, people don't understand how much this links to your peace of mind. It links to your wealth. It links to your ability to maintain relationships, your happiness. Because there are some people who go through life where they have their whole life becomes this string of broken relationships. This
Oh,
like this scorched earth, burned bridge
yeah.
kind of thing.
Hmm.
And that's not fun because you're constantly having to start over again.
Interesting. Yeah, it almost reminds me of fear too. People are just scared to talk about what they want to talk about. Their fear, and they can be very insecure. I've noticed. They feel kind of. What comments are you seeing?
Oh, nothing. I see Cha-Ching says B1, but don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just talking about like fear and insecurity kind of is the underlying kind of emotion that like plays a part of why people just can't get along and why they just can't talk things out. They're scared,
Hmm.
they're paranoid, and they're carrying along past relationships that went bad, and they're bringing that into the relationship currently. Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Yeah, I can see that, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't apologize maybe because you have a fear that you're gonna apologize and look stupid, and that they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna just rub your face in it and not actually reciprocate, or like, yeah, being vulnerable is hard.
It is really difficult, especially when you have a history of things not ending well. People don't know how to terminate. Termination is usually associated with fighting and arguing. No one knows how to terminate and just say goodbye to you in this moment, hello to you in the next moment. This was what worked out. This is what didn't work out. Let's still be cordial and friends with each other. Yeah,
Mm.
people don't know how to do. They associate negativity with termination.
Yeah. Well, Nicole Manning says, I thought this was a Salt and Pepper conversation. Well, this is actually, I mean, this is a Salt and Pepper conversation, but really, I like to bring things back to you. Because honestly, I care if Salt and Pepper, I mean, they're famous millionaires, I'm sure. God bless them. I'm sure they're going to be great. But I really think that, I mean, on this platform, everything that I talk about, I'd like to bring it back to the people that are listening, because I would prefer you to focus on, creating your own best life than sitting around worried about what celebrities are doing, because half these celebrities are crazy anyway, but I do think that there's like learning points, right? There's things we can learn from, from that story, right? Like, okay, so I mean, because clearly I think we can all agree that Salt and Pepper would be better off if they were together. Like if they were still partnering with each other and still helping each other out. But not, they're worse off. They're not, it's not the same group.
Yeah, interesting. I think it'd be nice to see them do well. Maybe they'll reconcile. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I hope that they do, or at least find success on their own, right? Like,
Hmm.
Spinderella's got her memoir, her book. I think people should buy the book.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think that if people want to get that perspective, why not support the sister? I might just buy one of her books and not even read it. Just buy it.
That's what you're gonna do.
Just buy it and be like, I supported you because I bought your book, because I support Black businesses and I want to see you do well. You're clearly, there clearly was some emotional hurt that occurred in that whole situation, and
Mm.
it seemed like they kind of went in different directions too. You had one girl who was real churchy and religious, and the other one that she's damn near, I mean, I think I could have sworn they said she was like into like erotic, like some real,
Which one, pepper or salt?
I can't remember.
I don't know which is which,
I
right?
don't know which one's Salt and Pepper. I can't. But anyway, but yeah, so I think I don't know. I think it's one of those things where the best thing you can learn from this is when you start winning as a team. I think the first step you want to take is say, okay, how do we get some help? Maybe you get a team, a coach, or a therapist in your group
Mm-hmm,
that can
mm-hmm.
help you make sure that you keep the relationship healthy.
Yeah, haven't a lot of groups, haven't they done that? They go and get help.
Musical groups,
Mm-hmm. I've
I
heard
don't
of
know if they
that
did, but
before.
you know what? Actually, one of the guys from New Edition, Ronnie, the tall one,
Ah, uh-huh.
he's in the Black Business School. And he hit me up, and it was great to talk to him. I have a lot of respect for him. He's a very smart man. And one of the things I might ask him is, and by the way, there's the URL for the Black Business School if you want to join us. But
Mm-hmm.
so Ronnie, his interest is more in like investing in real estate and all that. And that's what we talked about. But
Mm-hmm.
I did ask him to come on the platform at some point, and I would love to ask him. And I hope he's
Yes.
okay with this. I would like to ask him, like, okay, when y'all had issues with Bobby Brown, which came
Yes.
out in that document. I'm sure they had issues with other members as well, and I wouldn't want to pry into their personal business. But I'd like to ask them, like, what was your process for bringing it back together? Because you remember New Edition, that was, to me, I thought that was pretty awesome when they were able to
Yeah.
like get over there. Because you're talking about five, was it six? Wait, six, right?
Wait, it was Johnny Gill came in. He
Yeah,
replaced Bobby Brown. Yes, yes. And they came back and did the tour together.
yeah.
That was phenomenal,
And
right?
I thought it was so awesome
Yeah.
because it was like, okay, we lost Bobby Brown, and then the group broke up, and then the three that didn't that were not the three that were not Ralph Tresvant and were not Bobby Brown and were not Johnny Gill formed Belle Biv DeVoe and
Which
killed
was an
it.
awesome group.
I
Who
mean,
thought of
killed
that?
it, But here's the thing, right? Here's what's I think New Edition should be like a business school case study
It really should.
because it was so smart. It's like, okay, you know what? Like we know, like I know I'm not Ralph Tresvant. I know I'm not Bobby Brown. I know I'm not Johnny Gill. But the three of us together can be greater than Tresvant
Yeah, they did
because the
some
Belle
good
Biv
music.
DeVoe sold more albums than Ralph Tresvant did, right? So I think we're onto something. I think we're
Yeah.
really onto something. about this sort of idea. Like, get over yourself. Like, get over this whole like I can do it by myself, and I'm the Lone Ranger, and I'm the greatest in the world, and all this. No, like teamwork is how you win.
And at the same time, allow that person to say, you know what, I've done enough songs with us as a group. Let's end this peacefully. Let me go and do my solo album, and then we'll come back and do a reunion and make money together. How about that? I like that.
That's a good one too. Like yeah. Yeah, I like that. I think that's cool too. That can work.
And
Yeah,
it's
where
okay.
you agree to disagree, or agree to walk away, and agree to go in your separate
Yeah.
direction. I can see that too. But I think when you talk about like all these busted groups and all these problems, I don't think I can think of a single group that was out in the 80s or 90s that hasn't had like a division where people just went their separate ways. Because people change. Like eventually, sometimes you might get to the point where you're like, I'm tired of like doing reunion tours and being this character that I was when I was a teenager.
Yeah, I don't want to sing this song again. One more time with this song. Yeah.
Yeah. Like yeah. So like I think about Andre 3000. Like Andre 3000 was like, I want to go and and become like an actor. Or I want to go do some other stuff. Like I don't want to sit around and just try to keep being a
The
25
same
year old.
person.
Yeah, I don't want to be a 25-year-old till I'm 60.
Yeah, that's interesting. I bet that's why a lot of artists change their names. Like they'll debut their musical name, and then when they want to become an actor, they get a different name. Like,
Well, Andre, he doesn't go by Andre Benjamin now. Isn't that his
yeah, he
actor
goes by
name?
a different name. Yeah.
He's still Andre 3000. It's like little Bow Wow.
No, he's Bow Wow now. Wait, what is he now?
I think he's Bow Wow.
Oh, he took off the little.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're always a little Bow Wow to me.
Okay.
But there's some people. That's the thing. That's another curse people don't think about when they're trying to become famous. Is that once you become something, you're kind of locked in time.
Oh, it's a prison. I don't think artists really enjoy that. It's self-expression is what they want. They want to be, because think about, some of these people are musical geniuses and they have a song in them that they need to get out and they can't do it in a group and they just want to express themselves and they don't know if it'll be successful or not. But they just say, you know what? I have a song. I have an idea. This is what I want to do so that I can express myself musically.
Yeah, there's some people they just get in that box and they can't get out.
And they can't get out.
They can't be like, oh yeah,
awful.
I got an album now. People are like, no, remember you as the 10-year-old on that TV show. Yeah. And even when we watched Fargo and we saw Chris Rock in Fargo, it took the whole series for us to like get to the point where we're like, okay, I'm gonna take you seriously as this hardened gangster when you've been funny like for the last 30 years.
I admire Chris Rock for doing something different, for branching out, for not being Pookie. We kept seeing Pookie. Wait, what was his name? I know.
Oh, every time he made the Pookie face, it was like, okay, that's the Pookie face. That's not like, I know it's like this serious gangster drama. Because if you don't know, Chris Rock did Fargo. And Fargo, he did a great job, by the way, because he's a great actor and everything else. But we couldn't help it. We would just sit there and be like, no, that was Pookie.
We could only see Pookie.
that facial expression was Pookie from New York City. It be calling me, man. It be calling me.
But I'm inspired by people taking a chance and doing something different and, expressing their creativity in a different way.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. And I guess overall, like when I think about this whole Salt N Pepa Spinderella thing, it's like, I was reading her Instagram and I think she wants to make it into this whole like women's empowerment thing. Can you believe they did this to another woman? No, y'all just had a dispute. And I really think, and again, when she's talking about they took my image without my permission, things like that, that would make me just curious, like what kind of contracts do you have? Because people can't just take your image unless you allow them to. I mean, what
is her talent though? What is Spinderella good at?
She was the DJ.
Okay.
Well, remember back in the 80s. I mean,
back then DJs were important, but now
the DJs came along before the rappers did. Like they were the chicken and the rappers were the egg.
Okay, so now DJs aren't as significant, right?
But remember back in the day when when everybody used to make a song about their DJ.
Yeah.
Like, my DJ is the best in the city.
Oh yeah.
And his raps ain't shitty. Okay. Yeah, like but so yeah, she was important, and I think she's a part of Salt N Pepa. I mean, but people do think about Salt N Pepa when they think about when they think about Salt N Pepa, they think of them as a 2-member group. I don't think they think of them as like
we forget about Spinderella. And
We
that's
do.
terrible. She has to live like that as the third person that everyone kind of forgets.
Well, she probably should have did more, like maybe got on the record and talked or something. Like, because
That wasn't her job. Her job was to
so like spin.
spin the record.
Well, Jam Master Jay, I feel
Hmm.
like Jam Master Jay distinguished himself a little bit more. Or Jazzy
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yeah.
like they kind of had themselves like, and I guess that's what it is. You got to inject yourself in the music so that people know that you exist. Because if you sit quietly in the back, but I don't know, but because when people think about Salt and Pepper, they're not thinking about Spinderella. They're thinking about Salt and Pepper.
No, they're not.
Yeah. But so I hate it. I mean, it's kind of sad. And I think overall, it's like when you have a situation that's working, everybody loves it. Remember, people, it's like the way children love their parents. Like we love our favorite artists and we love them as a group, as a collective. And I think that when ego gets involved and people start thinking, well, if y'all love this as a group, you're definitely going to also love me as an individual. Well, sometimes people don't like this. Sometimes people just get sad. They're like, damn, like you ain't the same. Like when Chuck D and Flavor Flav parted ways, people were like, well, you're not the same without Flavor Flav. Like that's your you know spouse, no homo, right? Like that's your like we you not the same, like, or Big Boy. And I think Big Boy in Outkast, I think he understood this, right? Like you're not the same with the Andre 3000. You can't just be like, this is the Big Boy show and have us still and have us still thinking that this is the same group, that you are still as effective. You're not.
Yeah, I think what we can learn is that sometimes relationships, sometimes partnerships have an expiration date.
That's true too.
It's just don't go beyond what's no longer necessary. Like it's over. Let's let it have an expiration date, and it's okay.
Yeah, some relationships it's time to move on.
Yeah, when it's time to go, it's just time to go. Nothing you can do.
I still feel like I don't know,
you still hold on.
Well, a lot of times with a lot of these artists, they'll go and try to do stuff on their own, and then they won't be making any money, and then they'll come back together because out of desperation.
Well, that's a lesson learned.
Sometimes you got to get humble. Well, let me tell you an example in sports where this happened. In the '90s with the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, who has a real supersized ego, he started him, and I guess maybe the coach too. I don't know. They thought they could win championships like just because they were the Dallas Cowboys, and so Smith wanted more money, and Emmitt Smith, they wouldn't give it to him, right? So Emmitt Smith said, "Okay, cool." They had just won the Super Bowl, best team in the league. Emmitt Smith was like, "Okay, I'm gonna sit to the side. I'll show up when y'all start paying me." And I think they lost every single game until Emmitt Smith came back. Then they started winning again, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl again. And it was like sometimes losing that person that's in your group, your family, or in that relationship, it wakes you. It's like a wake up call. Like, damn, like I really needed you, and it can humble people.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so who knows? But I don't know. I think let's see here. Rico says she was a part of the story. Yeah, I think that what she's upset about is that she wasn't consulted. Like that's gotta suck.
They just left her out.
Have somebody tell your story and you ain't even in it. Like you can't even yeah.
That's disrespectful.
Boyce Watkins, how do you like Alan Lloyd investment? He's promoting on your thread. Just so you know, I don't even know who Alan Lloyd is, and I do see somebody coming in. It's probably spam. Like he's probably a spam bot. So no, I don't know Alan Lloyd, and he probably doesn't exist. And
I'm sure he's happy you just said his name.
That's true.
On here.
Well, I said it in a way to say like, don't like no, I do not know this person, and do not just go invest with spam bot. But anyway. Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna get on out of here. I hope you guys have a good day. By the way, if you want to follow me on Clubhouse, there's my Clubhouse information. Also, if you want to connect via text message, where I can send a text message every now and then, let you know what's going on in the world. Text the word "boyce" to 31996. Text "boyce" to 31996. If you could, before we bounce out, please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. Please, everybody, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, all that. I'll check in with you guys later. Please have a great day, and I hope that this conversation was helpful to you. Remember, the key idea here is managing relationships isn't just work. It requires skill, and there are tools out there you can use to manage your most important relationships, and you got to protect them, because remember, at the end of the day, you're better together. You're stronger as a collective. There's an old African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want
Mhm.
to go far, go together. So stay together, find a way, like, just maybe humble yourself, apologize, try, listen to other people, like work through your conflicts. There's skills out there that you can pick up. And I encourage you to go look for those skills. Don't just try to figure it out on your own, because it's not always going to work. So, and by the way, if you are into like the relationship type stuff, we actually have the blacklovechannel.com where we just, we believe black love needs to be celebrated. And I believe black women deserve to be honored in the way that they should be. And also, we think that I'm proud to love a black woman. And since some of you were asking questions about our relationship and our engagement, we just put up the platform to help those of you that still believe in black love, and believe in approaching it in a way that is loving and humble and uplifting, and not negative, derogatory, or tearing anybody down or anything like that. So feel free to go subscribe there if you're into that type of thing. So have a good day, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and we love you, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.